Hello and welcome back to another Rylan B video, and today we're going to be reacting to Expedition Theme Park's Expedition Alton Towers saga. So this is going to be a new series on my YouTube channel, and obviously we're going to start off with episode 1, which is titled History of Alton Towers and the Corkscrew. So let's not waste any time, let's get right into it. Here's the video. So this is going to be episode 1, so this is trying to introduces us to Expedition Alton Towers, and this is going to be episode 1 of this series, I think. There's 18 videos for us to watch in this series, so I'm going to make each one of them their own episode, starting with this. It's kind of a quick video, so it will be a quick video for you guys. So this is the history of Alton Towers and the Corkscrew, which is obviously Alton Towers' first ride.
Alton Towers, today the UK's biggest theme park, offers thrilling rides, family fun and historic buildings. One attraction though that opened in 1980 transformed the park into a must-visit destination. Welcome to Expedition Alton Towers.
The classic Alton Towers theme tune there. Blue, Olivia. Welcome to Expedition Alton Towers, people. Barney the Purple Dinosaur, what's he doing there? We'll find out later on. Expedition Theme Park. Here we go. Episode 1.
In Alton Towers you will find you can leave your cares behind. Here's a new world just for
Oh, the Blade. That is what, it probably wasn't called the Blade then, but that is what is now the Blade, which, rest in peace. Rest in peace, the Blade. Fly high. Because that was the only ride standing left today that has been there from day one, and it's now gone. But listen to like the classic, like, 1980s style advertising.
The park known as Alton Towers sits around a ruined building which gives the theme park its name, and its history goes back a very, very long time.
A stately home, once Europe's largest private house in a glorious wooded setting. It's in Staffordshire, right at the heart of England, just 40 miles north of Birmingham and perfectly placed between the M1 and the M6.
The site's earliest records indicate it was the location of an Iron Age hill fort as far back as the 8th century. In 700 AD it became a fortress for a Saxon king and passed through many owners over the years, including multiple knights. It was around the 1100s when a crusader was given the land for his work during the Holy Land Wars. Later again, it would find its way to the Talbot family, who originated from France. The first Earl of Shrewsbury, John Talbot, fought alongside Henry V for most of his life.
That's what the
house itself was called Alverton Lodge, which is the ancient word for Alton. The estate would remain in the family.
So that's what Alton Towers is most famously known as, the home of the Earl of Shrewsbury. But obviously, as we can clearly see, it's had owners before that, which is... I actually know that, so this is an educational series.
Earl of Shrewsbury, he took great interest in the estate. In 1801, he decided to extend the home and build out the gardens with a plan to spend more time at the beautiful location. Every year from 1802 to 1852, some form of work was being done on the estate. The lakes and pools you see at the resort today were dug by hand and thousands of trees were planted. The house was renamed to Alton Abbey around 1811, even though it was not a real abbey. When Charles died...
So all of the... What is just there is, like, all of the lakes that we see, like, you know, when you walk in, you go down Tower Street and there's that big lake before Towers. That was handmade. I didn't know. I thought they were more... Well, I knew they were handmade, but I didn't... I knew they were handmade, but obviously, as you can see, and also trees were built. Didn't know. I thought the trees were already there and they just built a house in the forest.
Died in 1827, his nephew John shared his vision for the estate and would go on to complete the work.
The old woman screamed a curse for every branch of the old oak tree that fell. A member of the Earl's family would die.
The real chaining of the chained oak tree, as seen in Hex, is believed to have been between 1821 to 1840, and either Charles or John are believed to have been the Earl who did it. Whether they did it to preserve the beautiful tree or the legend is true, today it still remains a mystery.
Please.
Well, that tree is only a few miles away from the actual like exit.
In 1832, the name was again changed from Alton Abbey to Alton Towers. Alton Towers became the main residence of the Earl's family until John passed away in 1852 when it went to his cousin Bertram. When he died though, 4 years later at the age of 24, all work on the house ended and there was no direct heir to the estate. Legal battles began over who had the rights to the estate, which was won by Henry Talbot, the 18th Earl. The items inside though were not included and were auctioned off. The 18th Earl only lived at the estate when their main home was being rebuilt due to a fire. After this, the 19th Earl decided to open the grounds to the public to fund repairs to the house which were badly needed in 1860. By doing so, he raised more than enough for the work required. This inspired the 20th Earl, Charles Henry Talbot, to develop the estate as a tourist attraction in the early 1890s. Along with the already popular gardens, he organised fetes, fireworks and illumination displays, exhibits of torture devices and balloon festivals at the site, which as many as 30,000 people visited. When the Earl and his wife separated in 1896, he left his wife to live in the estate. Refusing though to further pay, it fell into disrepair and began to decay until the estate was auctioned off. A group of local businessmen purchased the estate, with the main shareholder being an estate agent from Uttoxeter. They formed Alton Towers Limited and the gardens were restored. Once again, the items inside were auctioned off, but the building and gardens remained open to the public, with the addition of cafes and restrooms. It was extremely popular during the 20s and 30s.
You will now hear a statement by the Prime Minister.
This country is at war with Germany.
When World War II broke out, the building was requisitioned as an officer cadet training camp and would remain under the control of the War Office until 1951. It is mostly rumoured that the use during the war was what damaged the building beyond repair. But even before that, the period between the two wars, the majority shareholders had sold the wood and plaster fixtures from the interior and bought it.
So basically what he's saying is that Alton Towers during the Second World War, because obviously it was open to the public just to have that walk around the restaurants, so that's like what basically the thing is now, but obviously with roller coasters. What he's saying there is that what they did is they closed and they used the towers as like a war factory. Like, it helped out during the Second and First World War.
While most of the house remained abandoned, they did open a tea room in the Grand Banquet Hall. Along with this, the addition of travelling funfair rides were found outside. Shortly after, an indoor model railway was added inside the entrance of the building. Claimed as the largest in the world, it required an extra charge to be seen. During the 1960s and the 1970s, attractions began to be added such as a boating lake, chairlift, and a fair behind the main house.
So the chairlift is probably where now the Skyride is.
Concrete floors were added into the house so that the public could enter, and Alton Towers still remain popular.
The average visitor spends 6 hours in the park, and enjoying yourself is hungry work. That's why...
I wonder if they did that because... I wonder if now, because someone spent about 6 hours there, that's what the opening times are. Because it's open 10 till 6 normally. But obviously, well, 9 till 6. Which is 9 hours. So 10 till 6. So it's open 8 hours, but most people are there for around 6 hours. So, yeah, but obviously it's like 10 hours.
Alton Towers has a range of restaurants and kiosks to cater for every taste. If you want to take your time and splash out a bit, there's the Swiss Cottage restaurant, which overlooks the gardens.
Millionaire property developer John Brew married the daughter of majority shareholder Dennis Bagshaw in 1973 and bought out the controlling stake in Alton Towers. While during the late 70s, smaller attractions would be added to keep guests to the estate entertained, it would be 1980 that would drastically begin the transformation to the Alton Towers of today.
You won't believe how much fun you can pack into a day at
John Broome and the park's executives had a new ambition, a fully fledged theme park, and the inspiration for this came from, of course, Disney. They wanted to take Alton Towers into the Disney League, as they put it. The next few years would see the introduction of Talbot Street, Fantasy World, and Tower Street, clearly inspired by Main Street USA of Disney, but it would be the addition of one attraction that would really put Alton Towers on the map in the UK, Corkscrew.
Please just let me get out of here.
Just because they decided, Oh, it would be a good idea to put it as a theme park to go against Disney, because that's what they did. So they took that inspiration from Disney, and they wanted, you know, something that could overtake Disney and make it better. So they changed it into a theme park, and obviously added their first roller coaster, the Corkscrew, which was called that because it had a corkscrew in
Vekoma,
it.
founded in 1926, began as a
them.
manufacturer of mining and farm equipment. In the late 1970s, they entered into a partnership with Arrow Development. In exchange for purchasing Arrow rolling stock for rides, Vekoma would have access, leading them to develop their own version of the Arrow track. 1979 saw the first Vekoma corkscrew with bay and curve, an adaptation of the Arrow corkscrew. This version, unlike the Arrow one, was designed to be portable. While the corkscrew at Alton Towers was not the first one to be built, it was the first full-circuit double inversion coaster in the UK. The new ride arrived at Alton Towers in 68 containers. Originally planned to open in 1979, delays forced it to open the following year, on April 4th, 1980, to huge publicity.
So that's when a lot of people say that the park started when... That's when a lot of people say the park opened, at the start of the corkscrew. But, as you can see here, it was open before that. But yeah, I would always say that Alton Towers is from 1980s, because that's when it had a roller coaster, so it was a proper theme park. It wasn't just like a fair. But obviously it was a permanent park then, so it's mad to think that we just say 1980s when it started, because that's when the first roller coaster was there. As if it arrived in containers.
Around 30 line wait times reached up to 5 to 6 hours for this new park attraction.
Well, yeah, it's a roller coaster, isn't it? First roller coaster to invert in the UK, so that will be why it has such long queue times.
By contrast, if it's high excitement you're after, the ultimate in white knuckle rides are ready when you are. Like the famous Corkscrew in Festival Park, one of 5 main themed areas where thrill seekers are temporarily parted from their stomachs.
The ride itself cost £1.25 million to build in 1980 and featured 2 corkscrews, a 68-foot drop, and reached speeds of 40 miles per hour. The ride sparked new life into the UK amusement park industry and began to transform Alton Towers into a fully fledged theme park. This year also saw the shift from a pay-per-ride ticket system to a one-charge entry for all attractions.
There you
During
go.
the mid-90s, the original trains built by Arrow were replaced with trains from Vekoma. The 1 minute 30 long attraction sat unthemed in Talbot Centre and then Festival Park until Ugland opened in 1999.
Where fun began is now open.
Land
at Alton Towers.
Not much was changed, except it was repainted and the queue line was moved, as well as small theming elements were added around it. It was once again repainted for the opening of Rita, Queen of Speed in 2005. Corkscrew doubled the park's attendance from 500,000 in 1979 to over 1 million in 1980. After 28 years of thrilling riders, the roller coaster that put Alton Towers on the map had become rougher and rougher. And in 2008, Alton Towers confirmed that the Corkscrew was to be dismantled to make way for a brand new world's first attraction.
Name it. You've got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The ride that they replaced it with is 13. I don't know if you got that.
End of an era at Alton Towers today. The Corkscrew, Europe's first double-loop roller coaster,
on the news.
You knew that, is being retired after thrilling the crowds for 28 years. In its time, it's carried over 43 million riders and travelled over 820,000 miles. Well, the park is now in its closed season, but has been opened especially today for thrill seekers to have one last ride.
The final day of operation was November 9th, 2008, after a special event honouring the ride. That brand new world's first ride would disappoint many, but that story is for another episode. The front train of the ride was sold on eBay for £7,200, and the
7,200 quid. I mean, it is a roller coaster train, I get that, but and it is the first one that put Alton Towers on the map, so I can understand it.
The rest of the train was sent to Hyde Park for the Big Loop roller coaster.
The ride has reached the end, really, of its natural shelf life. We want to do something dramatic in this space in a couple of years, and unfortunately, when we've looked at all our plans and what we want to put here, it's meant that the corkscrew's time has come to an end.
Corkscrew changed the fate of Alton Towers and the whole UK amusement park industry. Long before the addition of secret weapons, it was one of the most popular rides the park had ever built. The remains of the ride were scrapped, except for the 2 iconic corkscrew inversions, which sit as a reminder today of Alton Towers history at the entrance.
It's always good when you go to the Alton Towers entrance and you walk under the corkscrew and it's like, this is like the original, this is the start. They've painted it purple though to match obviously.
Park.
Alton Towers.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Expedition Alton Towers. We still have many other attractions to look at on this expedition.
So, as he just said, as Sam just said, it's the end of episode 1. So it's good to just a little review of that. It's good to like know the history of Alton Towers, because obviously a lot of people just say started in 1980, they built the corkscrew, and then 1994 Nemesis came along, but clearly that isn't the case. And obviously people say it was Earl of Shrewsbury, but as we've seen there, it was around in the 1100s, and it helped during World War II. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a like and subscribe, and I will see you all either the Alton Towers vlog or episode 2 of Expedition Alton Towers, whichever one comes first. Thank you very much. Goodbye.